Coaches, consultants, and agencies, you are spending real money to generate leads, but once they hit your CRM, it's very hard to know what is actually happening to them. Some are getting followed up with way too late, and some don't get touched at all. Others are sitting marked interested for weeks. There's no notes, no next step, no accountability. And over time, that uncertainty starts to pile up, and you're not sure what your team is actually doing. You're not sure which leads are being worked or which ones are being missed. You open up the CRM hoping for clarity, and at the end of the day, you end up with more questions than you had before. Is this follow-up happening fast enough? Are reps saying the right thing? Are the right leads even being prioritized? It's hard to know. And when you don't know, it makes every decision heavier than it should be. So you end up relying on instinct when you should be able to rely on data. And you catch yourself repeating reminders. You're fixing little mistakes. You're checking basic admin work, just trying to hold the system together. And when a deal actually falls through the cracks, there's no way to pinpoint why it did. And that's exactly what we solve. We built a sales system that gives you complete visibility without needing to micromanage anything. You can open up your dashboard and immediately see what is happening. You can make sure that follow-up is automated. You have speed to lead that gets tracked and improved, admin work that gets done without you chasing it down, and every pre-call asset, every post-call note, every reminder just happens. If a rep forgets something, the system catches it. And when you hire someone new, you're not starting from scratch every single time because you have clear processes and documented SOPs, a structure that lets them ramp quickly and shows you how they're performing without digging. And the best part is your CRM stops feeling like a burden and reps actually use it because it makes their jobs easier. And that's what unlocks everything else. That's the foundation that we've built for teams like Dean Graziosi, Morby, Food Hub, TryIt Brands, and plenty of others. And it's not just to organize things, but to take away that constant feeling of uncertainty and replace it with structure, trust, and momentum. So I'm going to show you exactly in this system right here how we do that. So when we come into HubSpot, the first thing we're going to look at is your pipeline and your deal stages. Now, in the pipeline, we want to make sure that only sales qualified leads are actually making it into the pipeline. Now, your stages are dependent on your specific business. In this use case, we have application submitted, appointment scheduled, disqualified, no-show, holding, nurturing, hot list, etc. Now, what I want you to take note of is this little line here. Yes, that is a gap between the first stage and the second stage. And this is where leads slip through the cracks. And we need to make sure that we have automations catching everything that could fall through the cracks in that section. And this is where a lot of companies have trouble because we might put 1,000 leads in and by the time they get to the second stage, we're down to 500. And you can see the problem. If that continues down the whole pipeline, we have no leads that end up in close one. And that is the entire point of this. So we want to make sure that we have automations, for example, these renewal reminders right here, and these text enrollments right here. What this is going to do is make sure that any pre-call, post-call, on-call, proposals, etc., is all automated. Now, when we do that, it removes admin work from the actual sales rep. So they don't have to be the ones submitting all this information, which does two things. One, it makes their life easier. It gives them time back into their day to do what they do best, which is sell stuff. Now, the second thing it does is it creates consistency in the system because I don't have to depend on a sales rep or micromanage that sales rep to make sure that what he is doing is completed every single time and we have awareness to what is actually happening. Now, when you have the correct structure and you have the correct automations in place and you reduce the amount of admin work, you're going to have a dashboard. Okay. And everyone wants a fancy dashboard, but with a fancy dashboard, you have to have the right data on it. Otherwise you lose trust. You lose faith in the actual numbers that are on here. So when you look at this, we can have complete and utter confidence that this is correct because we know everything else in the system is being managed properly. Okay. Now, to manage this properly, we want to make sure things like this exist. So you can see here in the contact section, we have speed to lead, and most people want to track speed to lead, but they will never be able to track speed to lead because we lack the clarity and the consistency inside of the organization to be able to do that. And that's not because your sales reps are lazy. It's not because your leadership team doesn't want it or doesn't have it as a goal. It's because the system doesn't allow for it. The system doesn't create the consistency that's needed. Now, when we come up here to the top right-hand corner, we can see my active leads, my follow-ups, my no-shows, my overflow leads, my triage scheduled. This is specifically for a setter, very similar to a closer in what kind of views they have. But the point here is to make sure that they always know what they're doing next. There's never guesswork. It's like a triage list. If you have a heart attack and you go to the hospital and they have to revive you back to life, excuse me, there's a very clear process of what they need to do to bring you back to life. And we need to bring your CRM back to life. So we need a very clear process on what the sales reps do to make sure that we're engaging every lead correctly. Nothing is slipping through the cracks and we're producing as much revenue as possible. Now, when we come back over here, we can see this right here, and you can see 36 leads sitting in appointment schedule. Now, why is that of importance to us? Well, we're going to have views that look like this. So we have discovery call, meeting date is more than 1 day ago, and deal stage is any of appointment schedule. So what this is saying is, hey, we had a discovery call where the meeting was yesterday, and it's still sitting in appointment schedule. This is how your pipeline becomes messy. This is how you lose focus in your pipeline. This is how you water down your pipeline. This is how you lose money. We prevent this by creating views that are easy for your sales leadership team to review and have conversations with your sales team about things that should have happened, but they didn't happen. Okay. We don't have to go dig. This is very clear. It's right in front of us. And it's something we can talk about all the time to make sure that the CRM is updated. Okay. So these are just a few of the things that we're able to do when we have a properly created system. Now, these lists, we don't need to go into detail here, but when you come in here, you can see list membership is any of contact and no-show deal stage booked from setters. Okay. So that means that it is sitting on a list in the back end, and that list allows us to put on whatever filters we want. So we can make sure the right leads are in the right place at the right time for the right situation. So we can make sure that they don't get called too many times in a certain day, that they are dispositioned correctly, that if they are dispositioned differently, maybe they move to another list, right? We have this continuity between the entire system. Okay. So again, continuity and consistency creates trust in the system. Trust in the system allows us to make data-driven decisions. And when we have clarity and trust in the system, we can scale faster. We can onboard reps more smoothly and more quickly. There's a higher level of sales rep adoption. We decrease things like poor no-show rates and poor speed to lead because we have the visibility to call it out when we need to and drive accountability where we must. Okay. So if this is something that you have been lacking, or you have that feeling that just something might be off, or you don't have the utter confidence in your sales system that you have right now, go ahead and click the apply now button. Okay. Fill out the form, schedule a time to talk with my team, and we'll point you in the right direction. We'll take a look at your system. We'll make sure that you have a bulletproof system, you'll have bulletproof SOPs and a bulletproof system so that you can stop worrying if things are right and just straight make good, better decisions inside of your sales process. So go ahead and click the button. We'll see you on the other side, and I hope you have a good day.